Hello and welcome to this episode of Narrowboat Astronomer from a lockdown house in the Midlands. So because we're leisure moorers, it's not right in fact we're not able to visit the boat at the marina, and we're certainly not able to cruise, and it's not right to cruise. So I'm busying myself at the moment looking at some configurations for use from the towpath or the marina for astronomical projects, and I'll show you one of those in a moment. And we'll also actually use that configuration, which is a wide angle setup, so we can get quite a big piece of sky, but it's also a zoom lens, so I can sort of zoom in on the objects. And the project we'll be doing in this episode is an event that's just happened, which is called a conjunction, and I'll explain a little bit more. We'll do a little bit on conjunctions in a moment, just to explain what they are in an astronomical sense anyway. And I took some footage from the front of the garage, so staying close to the house with everything. Everything's either going to be from the backyard or from the front yard here, and it's basically an astronomical camera with a zoom lens on, and we can sort of cover the conjunction of the two objects which we're going to look at, which is Venus, planet Venus, and a deep sky object called Messier 45, or the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, and they come very close together, or apparently very close together in the sky, not actually close together. So we'll look at that in a moment, and that setup will sort of translate to use on the narrowboat, and the camera is actually quite flexible, so I'll explain what that camera is as well, and the make and model of it. And I'll put a link down below to some information about that camera. Quite flexible, so I'll use it in quite a few configurations. So we'll actually attach it to telescopes, probably a solar telescope, as well as the normal sort of spotting telescope that I shall take on the boat as well. Yeah, so without further ado, let's just explain a little bit more about conjunctions are, and then we'll come back to the equipment. So, in astronomical terms then, a conjunction is an alignment of planets or other celestial objects in the same space in the sky. So they don't have to be aligned in terms of being very close to each other in reality. In fact, they're more often not, and they're apparently in the same space in the sky. So an example of that might be for Jupiter or Saturn in the same space of sky, or very close in the sky, or Jupiter, Saturn and the Moon together in the same space of sky. In our case that we're looking at today, it's actually the Pleiades and Venus that are in the same space of the sky. Okay, so following now, I'll just show you the camera and the lens that we were using will be using on the tripod setup, and then we'll go into some photographs of the tripod setup itself, and then we'll show you some pictures or video that we took with it, some snapshots and some video of that conjunction. So let me just hold the camera up to the camera. So this is actually what we took the footage through that you'll see in a moment, and all it is a zoom lens off a security camera, off a CCTV camera. These comes in all shapes and sizes. This one's quite a good one, and it's quite a heavy one, so you can get some really short cheap ones, but this one's got some controls on it which make it a bit more flexible. So I don't know whether you can see there. The controls there are, we've got a start at the bottom, so we've got a wide angle and sort of telephoto setting there. We've got an iris close control and an open control. so we can close and shut the iris or open it fully up. And we've got a focus control for far or near, so that makes it quite flexible in use. There's no, I can't remember the name of this or where I got it from. There's no sort of manufacturer's markings on it, so it's just a sort of generic security camera lens. And that's attached to, if I unscrew that, this camera that I was talking about, which is a Mallincam Sky Radar series. This one's a DS287C, which means it's a deep sky 287 colour camera, and there's not that much to them. You can see the CMOS chip in there in the end, and it's got a cover over it, which I think is an infrared blocking filter, which I'll get a clear glass for that at some point as well. And you can also use it as a guide camera, so you've got a guide port. But the port we're mainly using is the USB 3 port there, so that plugs into a computer and gives us our pictures. And it's a low resolution camera, so it's not a high resolution solar camera for lunar or solar work, but it's meant for giving instant live pictures of astronomical objects like galaxies and star clusters. And that's its main task, but of course it's so flexible you can use it for many other tasks. So this is the one we'll mainly be taking to the narrowboat with us because it's really small and compact. This comes from a company called Mallincam that specialise in what you call cameras for electronic assisted astronomy. So that's sort of using electronic devices like this camera to help with live observing. So when I say live, I'm talking about viewing the astronomical objects in sort of milliseconds or seconds rather than seconds, minutes or hours. And they specialise in this type of camera, so they're extremely sensitive and sort of give you an electronic eyepiece, for want of a better word. Okay, so that's the camera. We'll now move on to the photos of the setup and the footage, and I'll also throw on the end some photos that I took of the marina before the lockdown, just to show you the sorts of environments where we might set up this equipment in the future. You might see me doing it from the marina side and showing you video from there, hopefully, once the lockdown is lifted. So here then is the camera attached to the mount. The mount is a Skywatcher AZ GTI, and this is clamped to the mount with an L bracket, which you can see there, and cable coming out of the back which would go to a computer. So we'll talk more about the mount in later vlogs, but as you can see it's nice and compact for the towpath. Here's the camera close up, so you can see the CCTV lens and see it securely clamped there to the L bracket. This is our target then, so the inset there is the image that we got from the camera, and it's a negative image, which is why it's black on white, and you can see there the Pleiades and Venus in a position just below it, as in the diagram in the background, which is from Stellarium. There's a close-up view of the Pleiades, and again Venus below it. Here then Venus in a different position, so this is from a different night. This is when I captured the live video, and this is the wide angle view you can see here, and a few clouds about, you can see those drifting past. So lovely live view there of the Pleiades and Venus there, again from Stellarium, so you can see where Venus should be, and this is a closer in view just to try and get rid of the cloud for a bit, so this is zoomed in. There we are, Venus and the Pleiades. Here then are the photos I mentioned. So we did a short walk around the marina, just looking at the sort of size of the pathways and where we could place the tripod. And yeah, there's plenty of opportunities there. There's little tables up on this embankment here, so somewhere to place the laptop as well. So yeah, should be plenty of opportunities here to do some marina side astronomy. And oh, there's our boat, tailor-made, the British Racing green one down the bottom. Right, in this little section I'll just take you through setting up a mission on Slough, and I'll show you the results of a mission of that same conjunction, different time, different date. Just to show you a little bit of Slough and just to explain about that remote service. It's a service that a company that I work for, so I do the operations manager role for Slough. And I didn't want this to sound like an advert, but it's a service that anyone can sign up for. It's actually meant for people who are just getting into astronomy or schools and educators. But equally, members of the public like me and your next door neighbour can sign up to Slough to use the service as well. So it's a fairly cheap one to start out with, but sort of keeps up with you as well. So as you become more expert at remote astronomy or image processing or whatever it is you want to use Slough for, then it sort of grows with you and you learn more about how to use it. So although I work for them, I actually use the service as well for my own projects and have been a Slough member, not working for them for many years before that. So I've used Slough for a long time, since 2004 I think it is they came. The service started in 2003, so very long time. And I love the service, so it's ideal for use from narrow boats or recreational vehicles, motor caravans. So if you're away from home and you've got internet, then you've always got access to their telescope, so it's going to sort of cover the astronomy angle pretty well. So I'll just show you how to set up a mission like the one that I did for the conjunction, and then we'll look at the resulting photo from that. So here I am logged in at Slough, and there's several different ways of scheduling missions, but I'm just going to show you one of them which should be fairly quick to set up. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is do a mission setup, which I can do by clicking on this observatory icon here and the mission setup button. And that gives me a fair few options on how to set that mission up. So I know which telescope I want to use, so I'm doing by telescope. And the telescope I sure want to use is Canary 3 for this evening, and this is in fact the slot that I'd like to use because the Pleiades sets fairly early. Okay, so I'm going to, in this case, use by catalogue because I know that the Pleiades is called Messier 45. So if I choose that, I can then choose the catalogue, which will be the Messier catalogue, and I can type in 45 and do a check of its visibility. Okay, so it's warning me that it's near what we call the soft horizon, so I can image it, but the image quality will be affected. So that's fine. I know it's going to set early, so I expected it would be low to the horizon, so that's okay. Now in terms of what we call the image processing recipe, I'm going to pick open cluster because I know it is in fact an open cluster, and click define mission and schedule mission, and job should be done. And there we are. I'm going on a mission to Messier 45, and hopefully later on, if that mission runs, I can capture that for you and show it after this message. So I can just double check that, so it shows me here that I now have that slot on Canary 3, and I can also check it from my home page. So I can click on this missions icon here, and again I can see I've got an upcoming mission and it tells me where it is and which telescope it's on. Okay, so let's see what happens. And here in fact you're looking at the result of that mission. So here we are, this is the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters. It is processed a little bit because it was cloudy. There is nebulosity around this, but you couldn't see it on that night. This is a different night of the mission where you can see Venus is in position in conjunction with the Pleiades. This is from Stellarium, and coming up now is the Slough mission. So this is the processed image from Slough, and now you can see Venus in exactly the right position, sharing the sky with Pleiades. Right, well, we'll see more of Slough and of my own equipment from the towpath marina or the backyard, front yard, in the lockdown period at least. And that's all we have in this episode for you, so quite a short one. I'm sure you'll be glad of that. And hope to see you in future on some more astronomy projects. And next time I'll try and include some events that we can look forward to, either using your just your eyeball or binoculars or any scopes that you have. We'll try and think of projects that cover those. And also use of Slough's remote telescopes as well. So for the where we need a bigger scope to see an event, you can sign up to Slough, and you can also schedule projects of your own or missions of your own to use those larger telescopes and get pictures of all sorts of wonderful objects in the universe. But we'll try and give you some look ahead of events that are about to happen, and maybe you can follow along. Thank you very much for watching.